Hey everyone, Kenneth here from Keller Williams. I'm here to give you a market update. We're going to ignore all the negative headlines and overly positive headlines, for that matter, in the news because they're just as headlines. In this video, I'll give you just the facts about what we're seeing in the first quarter of 2023 and how it's shaping up. I'm not going to give you any inflation forecasting like most other realtors. We'll just leave that to the economists. Let's just talk about the facts.
Look, I get it. The Toronto real estate market is confusing. Whether you're a new or experienced investor or just looking for a home to raise your family in, join us at Broadview Table Talks as you sit around the table with my friends and talk about the real estate and the ever-changing market in Toronto.
If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel so that you stay tuned with all the market analysis we're putting out there. At the end of this video, if you get some value out of it, please give a thumbs up so that we can push out to more people just like you. I'm recording this on March 8th, 2023. This morning, as you may know, the Bank of Canada announced no change to the overnight lending rate, which was mostly expected. They've already done a lot of damage to all the different markets in an effort to combat inflation. What they're going to do going forward is anyone's guess, really. No one really knows. You might have your opinion. I know I have mine, but let's just put that aside now because there's so many factors that go into inflation, whether it's demand side or supply side inflation and like what other countries are doing and other financial markets around the world. So let's just ignore that for now. Let's just dive straight into the Greater Toronto MLS data. And we're looking at the overall TREB market. So the overall TREB market performed really well in February. It's up 5.5% month over month in terms of the average price. That's just up over 1.5 times the previous month's sales volume. You have to be careful using month-over-month numbers because it doesn't account for seasonality. Nevertheless, there's still a strong indicator of what's happening despite it being lagging indicators. On the ground level, I know that we're dealing with multiple bidding wars and lower and sometimes even the higher price brackets, just depending on whether it's a unique property or not. So depending on your property, if it's like a typical one or not super unique, then traditionally like this time is a great time to sell from mid-January all the way to March break because everybody waits to after the holidays to put their homes on the market. There'll be more listings in March and probably some even more in April and going forward May. And it's the same cycle, right? That's why we've been seeing bidding wars lately because there's simply no inventory because no one really wants to sell unless they got a good deal on their next purchase and they need the funds for it, or they could repurpose those funds or something else, or maybe they're in a distressed situation or even a life situation. Life doesn't stop, right? Anyway, the market's down by 41% year over year for new listings. That's 41%. That's a lot. So basically by half, right? If you think about it. That being said, we're still down by 18% in terms of average price from last year. Down 47% in sales volume since the rate hiking cycle started in March. So February had a full month of peak sales. Despite this, the cost of capital is way more expensive. Monthly carrying costs for the vast majority of people that aren't buying all cash and they need a mortgage have gone up. So we'll probably see the year-over-year average price growth continue to decline till about May or June or so. That's when it really started dropping off since there was a lot of sales going back then. As long as the market doesn't go absolutely bananas over the next few months, which it might, who knows, right? But I don't think it's likely. We saw the largest month-over-month average price growth since January of last year. But keep in mind that's the largest year-over-year monthly average price drop in the 26 years since this data was available. The Toronto condo market has seen a larger percentage of sales. Anyone want to guess what that percentage is? It's about 30% of the total overall sales because not as many people are buying higher-end homes, right? That's all the different housing types out there. There's semi-detached, detached, and all that, right? Townhouses. These people are presumably a little more financially independent. I'm talking about the freehold home people, like they have larger homes, and they can hold out maybe because they pause their plans of selling because they have the space and they don't have an urgent need to downsize. The average sales to ask ratios are higher than they've been for a while, with property selling about an average of 100% of the asking price. Again, that's probably because the bidding war is due to the negative 41% drop of new listing inventory. That's just all lagging data. That's all February's data. But looking forward, I think it's going to be really hard to keep a lid on home prices because inventory will continue to remain low and will have strong demand over the next few years. Toronto developers are pressing pause on 10,000 units. You might have seen the headlines as the presale market slows down due to the effect of higher interest rates. Rental apartment construction, like purpose-built rentals, are also slowing down by 50% as construction costs continue to rise. And to top that all off, we're going to expect to welcome over 500,000 new immigrants to Canada by 2025, each year, that is. The GTA typically receives about 35% of these immigrants, so meaning that we could see like over 175,000 new immigrants to the GTA, where a normal year is about 100 to maybe 110,000 people. It's forecasted to grow by 1.27 million people, 2021 to 2031. That's over the 10 years. And these projections, keep in mind, they were made by the Ontario Ministry of Finance before the immigration happened. So it's probably a really conservative number if you think about it. All of this is happening as supply ramps down and demand grows.
Check out the podcast.
In the horizon. Home ownership trends are going to continue to decline, and rental growth will continue to explode, and supply won't be out there to balance things out. So in closing, with interest rates stabilizing in 2023, we should start seeing a modest growth of real estate into 2024, the real estate market. The rental market, as a landlord, is very optimistic in the near, medium, and long term. To encourage more rental construction, we're going to need better policies, whether it's purpose-built rentals or individual investors of condo units. Like, hopefully see that increase if we hope to ease prices over time. So again, if you got any sort of value out of this, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And other than that, I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Add it up.
Thanks for sticking out to the very end. I hope you got some value out of this. Do me a favor, please press like and subscribe, but more than anything, leave me some feedback so we know what to produce for you going forward. Thanks again.